Men, has a woman ever come on too strong? I met Jessica during my junior year of college. She was easy to talk to, had a sharp sense of humor, and carried herself with a confidence that made people gravitate toward her. We started dating pretty quickly, and after a few months, she brought up the idea of me meeting her mom. She talked about her a lot, always saying how close they were since it had just been the two of them for most of her life. Her mom, Rachel, had Jessica when she was 16, which made her only in her mid-30s. I knew she would be young, but when I finally met her, I was not expecting her to look the way she did. She was beautiful, the kind of effortlessly attractive woman who looked like she could have been Jessica's older sister instead of her mother. She had dark hair, striking green eyes, and a playful energy that made her instantly likable. From the moment I walked in, she was warm and welcoming, maybe even a little too much. She complimented me a lot, always made direct eye contact, and laughed at everything I said, even when it wasn't that funny. At first, I chalked it up to her just being friendly. That night, the three of us sat in their living room drinking wine and talking for hours. Rachel told me stories about Jessica as a kid, embarrassing ones that made her groan and roll her eyes. The whole night was fun, and I felt like I had made a good impression. It was only later, after a few more visits, that I started to notice something was off. Each time I came over, Rachel's behavior toward me became a little different. She started wearing more revealing clothes. At first, it was subtle, just tank tops and yoga pants, but eventually, she was walking around in short silk robes or low-cut tops that left little to the imagination. She always found an excuse to touch me, whether it was resting a hand on my arm or brushing against me when she walked by. I mentioned it to Jessica once, but she just laughed and said her mom was always like that. One night, I was at their place again, and we had all been drinking a little more than usual. Rachel poured herself another glass of wine and sat down next to me on the couch. At first, it was fine, but then she leaned in closer. Before I knew it, she draped her legs across mine like it was the most natural thing in the world. I froze, looking at Jessica, expecting her to say something, but she didn't react at all. If anything, she just smirked and shook her head like it was no big deal. I was already feeling uncomfortable, but things escalated when I got up to grab another drink from the kitchen. As soon as I opened the fridge, I heard footsteps behind me. I turned, and Rachel was standing right there, looking at me in a way that made my stomach tighten. Before I could say anything, she placed her hands on my waist and moved in closer. "You don't have to be shy," she said, her voice low. I stepped back immediately, holding up my hands. "Rachel, no," I said, trying to keep my voice firm but calm. She just smiled like it was some kind of joke. With a slow sigh, she shrugged and walked back into the living room like nothing had happened. I stood there for a second, trying to process what just happened before following her back out. I sat down and told Jessica about it right away, expecting her to be shocked or angry. Instead, she just laughed. "Oh my God, she does that to all my boyfriends. She's harmless," she said, waving it off like it was nothing. That was the moment I realized this was normal to her. She had grown up with it, so she didn't think it was strange. To me, it was a huge red flag. I broke up with her a week later. She didn't even seem surprised, which made me wonder just how many guys had been in the same situation before me.